u/realHDNA Askreddit. What screams of this person peaked in high school to you?
Welcome to
AutoGenLabs.
Daily Reddit content.
By robots.
For the internet.
Under college/university and their Facebook profile, it says School of Hard Knocks.
One guy I knew literally got our school emblem, a mascot, in a huge class of 2010 tattooed on his shoulder.
It doesn't get better once you grow up. I told the sub-teacher at my school that people told me this all the time, and she told me the only people that say that are the ones that peaked in high school. I miss her every day.
They keep insisting for the next 30 years that they would have taken state if coach would have put them in the game.
I used to work with a guy, we used to call him Road Rage. He was very muscular, very masculine, and let everybody know both those things about him constantly. One day I'm sitting next to him in the break room and he's talking to me, and prompted as always about how he went to attend an award ceremony for his son who won something regarding his football performance. I said, well, that was nice of you to go and support him, nice. He said, it was beep sad man, that used to be me. Now I'm the old guy in the room who has to watch someone else win something I should have had, and all I could think was what a loser. You can't just be happy your son won this award and be proud of him. You have to make it about you.
Still going to every high school football game and sitting in the student section.
They want to organise high school reunions every 5 years.
Taking rec league softball way too seriously.
Almost 10 years after high school, a guy asked me if one of my friends was popular in high school.
When the former high school bully you beat in a karate tournament with an illegal face kick shows up at your business and all your employees know exactly who he is.
In my experience, it's the people that talk about things that happened in HS as if it were yesterday. Constantly. I had an ex who would always tell me crazy stories. I'd ask, when did this happen? She would say sophomore year and we were mid-20s. Over time, it became clear that HS is the best years of her life and most likely will continue to be as she didn't have much ambition after HS. I had one good year in HS and reminisce about it every now and then, but it is not on the forefront of my mind.
Anybody who actually says, unironically, that high school was the best time of their life. I don't feel like I was even a real person until after college, and my late 20s/low 30s are better than any time previously in my life. I can't imagine peaking in high school. Edit. Lots of good comments, but a lot of them are, well, what about this example, or actually I enjoyed high school and I was just making a broad statement, so obviously exceptions apply. FYI, I had to move during high school and I was a jaded beep. I had almost no friends in my new school and I was glad to get the beep out and never go back. Thankfully, I had and still have many friends from my first high school that I'm always thankful for. I didn't know who I even was or wanted to be in college, and I didn't figure that out until my mid-20s. So for me, the thought of peaking in high school is insane because I can't relate to that experience, but I know that some people certainly do.
They tattooed their last name across their shoulders.
My ex-stepmother constantly bragged about being a cheerleader in high school and winning a beauty walk in a town of like 500 people. She was still bragging about these the last time I saw her. She was in her mid-40s.
Any amount of participation in an MLM scheme.
If they are in their 30s/40s and they wear their leather jacket outside of things like high school reunions where it's only barely appropriate, they still brag about their high school GPA or any accomplishment they made in high school. They wear their HS class ring outside of things like high school reunions. High school could have been fun. It's fine to reminisce backslash like how at my HS they made a random freshman swallow a goldfish whole as a school sanctioned event backslash, but if it defines you still, you peaked in HS.
But all he kept talking about was glory days. Well, they'll pass you by, glory days in the wink of a young girl's eye. Glory days, glory days.
Bragging about high school hookups in their 30s.
The people that ask you to join those MLM schemes selling body wraps or the like. Anyone that has a salt life decal on their car when they live nowhere near the ocean or even a salt mine.
You continue to brag how you scored 4 touchdowns in a single game while playing for your high school team over 20 years later. And now you sell shoes.
One trying to keep a dying school alive so they can keep going to local high school sports events, even when the students would be much better off if it dissolved. Term when they still talk about school and experts 30 years later. Edited to note these are two separate things and clarification on the second point.
I talk about when I was in wrestling for high school from time to time. For me it was the only positive moment in high school. My best friend since we were 4Y old and I were on the team and training partners. We had a blast and took nothing too serious. Just the pure joy of beating the beep out of one another in practice and still being friends after it was over. He died when he was 24. It's been almost 7 years without him. My world is different without him in it, and talking about those days keeps him alive. I didn't peak in high school, I wasn't popular, I never went to prom, never even had a girlfriend, but those days are the few good memories I have left of him. Before he died, he was in a downward spiral and I refuse to remember him that way. That's not who he was.
They only talk about high school, probably because that was the highlight of their life so far.
I graduated in 5. I was sitting at a tyre shop waiting for my truck to get done, and an employee slightly older than me walks up to me and asks me, with no previous interaction, if I played football in high school. Wondering where this was going, I responded that I did, but I wasn't great at it. He asked what school I went to, and I told him. Then he starts talking about himself. How he was all conference and walking me through all of his high school accolades and never asked for this conversation. I just sat there wondering why this nearly 40-year-old, wildly out-of-shape tyre shop supervisor was telling me all of this. Then just as soon as it started, he bid me good day and walked off. It was bizarre. The best comparison I could make was that he was like the manager down from the movie Waiting. That was his vibe. That's how I knew he peaked in high school.
I had a good time in high school, so I'm probably labelled as someone who peaked in high school by others. I've just learned to embrace it. I'm secure with myself enough to be satisfied with what I've accomplished afterward, that I still put in the effort to organise the band alumni night every year. Someone's gotta do it, and it's something I enjoy, but I'm also personally involved with organising a lot of things separate from high school events, so it's just something I've always done, haha. If you didn't have a good time and don't want to be reminded of it, don't come easy peasy. If you want to see your friends and support the current band, then come see me to get your name tag at the table by the band room. I'll be here with a pen.
I graduated almost 40 years ago and ran into one of the more popular students at the bar a few years back. They kept trying to convince me I had been the object/victim of a mean prank their clique had pulled back in junior. I had no idea what they were referring to, and after listening to them jabber about it for about 10 minutes, I realised this person was hoping to shame and embarrass me in front of family and friends. When they finally wound down after realising I wasn't reacting in the manner they had hoped for, I told them sorry. That wasn't me. However, since they brought it up, did they ever stop to think that the person they were referring to did not deserve said prank, and weren't their little all to be playing childish games at this point of their life, and that their current life must be pretty beep if beep like this is all they have to offer? I ended it by writing "Do I like you? Check yes or no" on a napkin with a big old check mark in the no box. They turned bright red and slunk off, giving me dirty looks for the rest of the evening. And no, whatever they were referring to was not me. I still have no idea who or what they were referring to.
When they get extremely petty and angry over the smallest, mosh insignificant beep. Karens and Kevins are just older versions of those extremely attractive guys and girls who never really grew out of "I'm hot so the world's at my feet" mentality.
Cop uniform.
I'm married to a man I met at high school, and I can tell from people's reactions when I say that some people assume that means we peaked in high school. But those reactions are split 50/50 with people who think it's super sweet, adorable, like a fairy tale, etc. It's always funny to tell someone new about it and see which side of the line they land on. For the record, in high school I was painfully socially awkward and being abused by a person I thought was my best friend. And my husband was constantly on the verge of failing out because he didn't find schoolwork interesting/challenging, but now he's got a great career and a lot of very engaging hobbies. Those were absolutely not the best years of our lives. In fact, the only reason I remember high school fondly is that it's where I met him.
Ridiculing the hobbies of others to make yourself look good.
Still acting like a typical mean girl when they're beeping you past 30.
Talking about high school in every conversation and gossips like a high schooler.
Anyone who bullies other adults as if they were still in high school.
This is a weird thread, because I've grown a lot as a person since high school, but life has been unkind to me since then. I look at high school and realise that life was the most stable and kind to me back then.
Regularly reposting the same picture of the one notable moment that they had in high school.
I didn't really have much to do with my hometown after graduating high school, but about 3 years later I saw the football team was doing real good, so I was like, beep it, I'll go. I ran into a dude I graduated with that was wearing his Letterman's jacket.
I'm an alpha male.
Bringing up high school after high school.
You're Celsius, but all you can talk about was the time in high school when you were the starting quarterback.
Thanks for watching. This has been an AutoGenLabs production. That means that this video was created by a robot out of content on Reddit. We show all account names and list them in the description to credit the Redditor community that makes our work possible. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. We post new videos every day. If you have any suggestions for videos you would like to see, please leave a comment. Our human department for public relations reads all of them, or won't be let out of their cages again. Goodbye.